A death has occurred, and everything is changed by that event. We are painfully aware that life can never be the same again. Yesterday is over. Relationships, once rich, have ended. But there's another way to look upon this truth. If life went on the same, without the presence of Kay, we could only conclude that her life that we remember made no contribution, filled no space, and meant nothing. The fact that she left behind a place that cannot be filled is the highest tribute we can pay her. Life can be the same after a trinket is lost, but never after the loss of a treasure. Hello, everyone. My name is Elizabeth Zempel. It's my privilege to be here today with you to mourn, to celebrate with you, to remember and honor Kay Johnson, the mother of Evelyn, the daughter of Mark and Eureka, the sister of Christopher and Jamie, and a friend to all of you. Kay was born on Friday, December 21st, 1984 in Osaka, Japan. Her life tragically ended on a Tuesday, January 24th, 2023, in her 38th year. She lived 13,913 days. She loved Reese's peanut butter cups and ice cream, Hello Kitty and origami. So is that it? Is that all there is to say about Kay? No, far from it. I don't believe that death occurs to teach us lessons. Whether death comes gently to a life that was long and well lived, or suddenly appears in the blink of an eye in tragedy and senselessness, the lessons to be learned do not lie in death, but in the life that was lived. And Kay's life was filled with lessons for all of us. So many lessons. So let's get to them. Lesson number 1. Be tenacious, determined, and persevere. Kay was courageous. She faced life with a fierce spirit. She was proud of her sweet little 1931 bungalow in South City. It was her oasis, her haven, and her second most important project. It was the comfy nest she wanted for her most important project, Evelyn. As it is with most rehabbers, her home was a labor of love. To bring a house back to the best version of itself is not a job for the faint-hearted or the lazy. Kay would never hire someone to do a job that she could do herself, and there was very little she couldn't do. If she needed a second pair of hands, she knew who she could count on. She owned every type of saw imaginable. Valerie referred to her as a hardcore Mary Poppins because she had a lot in her carpet bag of tricks. And if I might borrow from Mary Poppins herself, for every job that's to be done, there is an element of fun. She could make work fun, as you all know. Her pride in her home was well-deserved. She knew HGTV, but HGTV should have known her. Kay had wonderful neighbors who admired her for her ability to willingly take it all on. She was a happy warrior. Lesson number 2, be generous. There isn't a person here that wasn't a beneficiary of Kay's generosity. She gave of her time and talent and treasure, helping Valerie with a paper for nursing school in exchange for just being able to spend some downtime together, giving the clothes and toys that Evelyn had grown out of to Valerie for her daughter, Victory. Valerie would record Victory's reaction to the gifts that Kay had given her so she could share her reactions with her. And if you needed help, Kay would be there. You could count on her both personally and professionally. She worked hard at her job, but she made it seem effortless. And she never did anything halfway. Carlos told me that she was very productive, and that when she saw something that needed to be done, she didn't wait for someone else to do it. She pitched in, even fixing a broken cabinet at work because she could do it and it needed to be done, and it probably drove her crazy. Carlos, are you here? Carlos, you want to get up and say a few words?
She was a productive person. She was always one step ahead. Kay was a good listener. Kay was versatile. She could be highly efficient and professional, as well as fun and ironic. Kay was always busy working on projects in the lobby, even projects that weren't part of her job. We will always see Kay in various parts of the lobby. We'll see Kay in the cabinets that she fixed, in the origami figure that she made, in the plastic ice bucket that she fixed. But above all, we will always feel her sarcasm, her temper, her laugh, and the peculiar way in which she pronounced certain words, like charps instead of chips and biscuits instead of biscuits. Hey, thanks for your effort, for the good times, for your kindness. Thanks for driving me to my car when it was very cold outside and I forgot where I parked. And finally, thank you for the flowers you gave me to surprise my wife. You really touched my heart. May you be blessed wherever you are.
Thank you, Carlos. Is there anyone else who would like to say a few words at this time? Well, if you feel the urge later on, just raise your hand. Lesson number 3, be optimistic. Kay was a 38-year-old single mom. She'd been through the pain of divorce. She had a little girl who depended on her. Although she and Terry lovingly shared their parenting responsibilities, it's undeniably more challenging with 2 households and schedules, but she made it work. It would have been easy for her to feel sorry for herself, but she never complained. She approached every obstacle, every challenge with a positive mindset that was contagious. She came into work every day with cheerfulness and lifted the spirits of those around her, both customer and coworker. And that cheerfulness and can-do attitude rubbed off on you. Lesson number 4, be responsible. Kay lived far away from her family. I'm sure her parents were 100% behind her with moral support and anything else she might need. And clearly they instilled in her a great work ethic. But Kay knew that ultimately the house, her career, and most importantly, Evelyn's well-being rested on her shoulders. She happily took on all these responsibilities with joy and enthusiasm. Again, the happy warrior. Lesson number 5, have fun and be fun. You all knew her to be a funny, outgoing, friendly coworker and friend. People gravitated toward her. I know there was dancing in the kitchen here and the kind of laughter that hurts your sides. No matter how you were feeling, she could always lighten the mood with a joke mixed with her quick wit and a nice touch of sarcasm. Nick's Pub was one of her favorite places to go after work to unwind and have a few drinks with her friends. And she had a pretty extensive knowledge of scotches. Janata told me she imagined herself someday having her own speakeasy where she could drink great whiskeys, and if people were privy to the password, they could get in. It was one of those dreams that Kay would have made come true had she had the chance. Lesson number 6, the importance of friendship. Kay became a part of your Ritz Carlton family in 2019. With her warmth, her humor, and her zest, she fit in perfectly with her coworkers and clientele. There was a great camaraderie among her workmates. I'm sure that everyone here has 100 Kay stories to tell, and I know you're sharing those stories with one another. When you came into work, if you saw Kay was there, you knew it would be a good shift. A good coworker is someone who makes your life easier and challenges you to do your best. She did that for all of you. Being a good friend also means being a good listener. If you shared your worries and your thoughts and your concerns with Kay, she was there to hear you and not judge. She was a giving, loving, and compassionate person. She could empathize with you and sympathize with you. Talking over things with Kay was therapeutic, and she could always lift your spirits. Now, these next words came from a very good friend and neighbor, Jason. He left these memories of Kay online for us to read and to appreciate. And they're the kind of words that only a good friend would be able to share. I'm an outsider looking in, and I never met her. I can only reflect back to you what all of you already know, that she was just the best. And these are his words. My wife, Laura, and I first met Kay in 2016 after we answered a post on Nextdoor. She lived on our block and was looking for a play date for her dog, Murdoch. Laura and Kay hit it off immediately, and our dogs hit it off as well. It didn't take her long to draw us into her wonderfully messy orbit, and we all grew close rather quickly. Murdoch became a regular fixture in our home, and by the end of the year, Kay and Evelyn quickly became family. When Laura and I planned on getting married in a small ceremony, Kay was our immediate and first choice as a witness. Kay, Evelyn, and Murdoch were 3 of only 5 people, including the minister, at our ceremony. She loved good whiskey, Billy Joel, Paul Simon, Chris Evans, Spider-Man, and Venom. She loved eating at El Burro Loco in the Central West End, winding down the night with a drink at Nick's Pub, and napping at friends' homes all across the St. Louis area. She loved good pizza, bad pizza, donuts and gyros, modern rock music and classic jazz, cooking for large groups or just her and Evelyn, dogs and cats, kids and adults, dad jokes, inside jokes, and dirty jokes, shoes and tools and tattoos, along with woodworking, painting, and glasswork. Kay's laugh was unforgettable, a combination of a squeak and a gasp. And if you could get it out of her more than once, you felt like the funniest person on the planet. She didn't like asking for help, but when she did, there was never a moment's hesitation to rush to her aid. She gave more than she took. She also knew when to stand up for herself and push back when she felt she was being wronged. Murdoch was a huge source of love and humor for her. She loved playing with him, playing jokes on him, and making sure he was as happy as possible. One of the last things she did was take him to Bar K, the dog park bar. It was a place she had always wanted to experience with him. Above all else, she loved Evelyn. She was the purest source of joy in her life and her great motivator. Their time together was the highlight of her week. Everything around those few days was focused on Evelyn, as soon as Evelyn finished her homework, of course. I can't even begin to describe their relationship, but if you were ever around it, you knew it was nothing but pure love, respect, hope, and admiration. They say you can't choose your family, only your friends. Kay started out as a friend and became more important to me than family ever will. She was Aunt Kay to our dogs, a best friend to Laura, and a younger sister to me. We will miss her so much. Lesson number 7, be selfless. Did you know that Kay once saved a life? In a terribly ironic twist, several years ago, a woman was shot in the alley behind her house. Kay rushed to her side and applied pressure in the wound, saving the woman from bleeding to death. Is anyone surprised by this? She could have ignored the gunfire and the cries of a human being in distress, but she didn't. She had faith in humankind and that we are all trying to make our way through this world together. She believed that she was her sister's and her brother's keeper. She didn't just talk the talk, she walked the walk. Evelyn was her world, The photos and the collages that we have seen offer us only a small glimpse into the life of this amazing mother. We can see her and Evelyn mugging for the camera, posing and just being silly, the way it should be between a mother and her little girl. Those photos were a happy memory. Through the days and weeks, and for years to come, our thoughts and our prayers need to be with Evelyn as she navigates the rest of her life with her unimaginable grief. Pray also for Evelyn's dad, Terry, and Kay's parents, whose own lives have been shattered, but who must remain strong for Evelyn. I'm reminded of the words written by Nick Cave. He's a musician and a writer and an actor, and he wrote this when his 15-year-old son died. If we love, we grieve. Grief and love are forever intertwined. Grief is the terrible reminder of the depths of our love. You all here today are permitted and even encouraged to grieve and cry. Washington Irving wrote that there is sacredness in tears. They are not the mark of weakness, but of power. They speak more eloquently than 10,000 tongues. I mentioned earlier that Kay lived only 13,913 days. Most people live twice that amount, but don't accomplish half as much as Kay did. It is a finite number of days, but Kay's life has made a difference in ways that are too numerous to count. You will all go on with your lives. New people will come here to work at the Ritz Carlton, and you'll tell them about Kay, and they'll feel cheated not to have known her. You might change jobs and go on to different places and different careers, but 5, 10, 20, 30 years from now, you will take the memory of Kay with you always, and you'll tell your friends and your family and your children about her, how wonderful she was, how unique and special she was, and how she changed your life. We have learned a lot from Kay's life. Kay is now your role model, so be like Kay. Take the lessons that she unwittingly imparted, humor, tenacity, responsibility and optimism, and selflessness, and apply them to your life. You'll see what a difference it will make. Some people think a legacy has to be tangible, like money or possessions. But a true legacy, the only one that matters, is the one that helps people realize their potential and be better stewards of their lives. You are all better for having known Kay. That is her legacy.
Hello. I used to work with Kay in the lobby lounge. She was one of the people that really never cared about who judged her. In the back, it would be me, Tim, and Kay. We'd like freestyle and just have a blast. A couple years ago, she gave me this watch, and I used to, every single week when I came back to work, I went to go check up check up on my people in the lobby lounge, and she goes, Nathan, where's the watch? Because I have a selection of watches, and sometimes I didn't have it on, and when I did, it never had a battery in it. And that's the one thing she always said, Nathan, I'm gonna get you a battery, give me that watch. And it just never happened until today. I finally put a battery in my watch, and it's probably been 4 years where I've looked down and actually could like know the time. For once, it has more meaning, because you never know when your watch battery might die, and it goes so much more into that. Like, you never know when your watch stops running out, and that's why you should cherish and value the people around you.
Anyone else? Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for taking your time out to remember our loved one. Feel free to stick around to share memories with each other. There's coffee, there's drinks in the back. But as you leave today, remember Kay's memory and cherish each moment. There are some mementos in the back of things that Kay loved the most, from high heels to Hello Kitty to Reese's Peanut Butter Cup. Please take those and just remember her today. Thank you so much.